There are very few games that embody speedrunning as much as Valorant does. From Spike Plant, to Spike Defuse, to parkour, to Discord bans. It is one of the most complex and respected speedruns in the world. And yet, very few people in the community understand the hard work and dedication that goes into it. To this day, there are very few that even attempt these types of speedruns. Today we will explore each era of Valorant speedrunning, understanding why each one is more complex than the last, to truly understand the history of Valorant speedrunning. As Valorant became available around the world, one thing became abundantly clear despite it still being in beta. This game was made for speedrunning. Upon first opening the game, we are introduced to the range, and all of its speedrunning opportunities come from its variety of different game modes. From parkour to aim train to spike plant and spike defuse, a whole new world of speedrunning had just been born. And this is where we arrive at the earliest days and the first era of Valorant speedrunning. The first thing that many of us saw, the parkour. There's a very good reason that the early days are called the golden age of Valorant speedrunning. There's almost a sense of purity or beauty in strats that are just about optimized, but there's still innovation everywhere. The first no ability speedrun was uploaded by Speedrunner, which is the one you see here. It is essentially a culmination of all the original strats found in the pathing by Riot. There are many mistakes and there are many time saves to be found, but all that means is more innovation in the future. The run isn't perfect, and it really is far from it, but that's only a more humbling experience looking back on it. The pioneering first run by Speedrunner is something that all Valorant speedrunners look back fondly. The next big time save was found by a user named Inspect, who found a revolutionary new route that was not intended, or at least not initially intended, by Riot. While Inspect was the one that was credited as discovering this, Bonds was the one that perfected it. Many of the mistakes that were found in Inspect's speedrun were not found in Bonds, thus a much faster and sub 45 second speedrun was possible. While there were many other strats as well as different categories such as the abilities that you see here, Bonds' world record of 42 seconds is the crowning achievement of the golden age of Valorant speedrunning. Now the next era is called Outside the Range. However, it is also commonly known as the dark ages of Valorant speedrunning. During this time, the range speedruns became so well optimized that they lost some of their popularity. Ultimately, what this meant was that speedrunners needed to move away from the range into less popular categories in order to be competitive, the most common one being rank up challenges. It is unknown why Riot decided to implement such a game mode of comp into Valorant. This is due to Valorant's highly speedrun nature, and this type of game mode really only caters to a few select people. It is unfortunate that this is the speedrun most known outside the community simply due to how saturated it is. Nevertheless, one cannot deny the difficulty and dedication it takes to complete this speedrun. It is one of the most RNG heavy speedruns in the world of gaming. Now how it works is that first, the player goes onto eBay and purchases an Iron 1 account for a couple of dollars. This then allows you to begin the speedrun itself, and the second step being the most RNG heavy. This is when you are grouped up with 4 other teammates and 5 enemies, with the goal being to win the match in order to eventually get that rating that will rank the player up. The trouble is that thanks to the extensive work from data miners, it was found that the game favors bad teammates and far better enemies. It became far more common for your teammates to be dog shit rather than your opponents. This is where the speedrun gets complicated and where it is to this very day. It seems that unfortunately Riot has begun to favor the speedrun, with regular updates still being pumped out. However, a shining light reached through the clouds, if only for a brief moment in the early days of 2021. A return to the range gave it new light and new strats and ideas, thus beginning the short but beautiful renaissance of Valorant speedrunning. In the early days of February 2021, a runner named Perkasic would post this run of Spike Plant to r/Valorant. The post immediately made the front page, and this largely speedrunning subreddit went crazy for a few hours. Now what did this mean? It meant that speedrunning inside the range was now back. The renaissance is credited as being started by Perkasic himself, and it is unknown if he did this on purpose. However, the run itself was incredibly quick, yet imperfect. In under 25 seconds, he managed to plant the spike and kill all enemies attempting to defuse it. The run is both genius and odd, almost purposely leaving places where there could be room for time save. It was almost an invitation to beat the time. It is theorized that perhaps Perkasic did this on purpose, in order to single-handedly restart the Valorant speedrunning community. Whether it was on purpose or not, the post did work, and very quickly a runner named LukiNC responded with his own run. It was only a couple milliseconds faster, but nonetheless, definitely faster. Thus, for now, LukiNC became the world record holder. Ultimately, however, a new runner would take the crown, and this up-and-coming runner at the time was somewhat unknown. However, today, he is often seen as the greatest Valorant speedrunner of all time. Pioneering new strats and new time save, he is known for not only taking full seconds off of the world record, but doing so in an extremely short amount of time. In the coming days, he would smash the record after record as he etched his name into Valorant history. As a response to the first speedrun of Spike Plant, Noble posted this run, smashing the record by a full 5 seconds.
Spike planted.
Despite being widely known for his aim, he somewhat missed his shots with his classic. Unfortunately, that was where he missed the most time, and thus logically where he could gain it. Now, many people believe that this was where the biggest time save would be, but then he pioneered a new strat with this run. With pioneering the new jet strategy, he was able to do the whole run in under 15 seconds. And to this day, it remains the world record and will likely never be topped. Noble is by far the greatest and the best Valorant speedrunner of all time.